So, hello again, fellow Martians. I like that saying because I think everyone in here is a strong belief that one day we'll settle Mars. And for me, MarsOne is the most daring initiative to do so, to reach that goal ultimately. And I will show you why I think this is the case. So let's finally get to Mars. So let's have a look at the motto of the Mars Society. You may be familiar with it. It's the Earth is the cradle of humanity, but mankind cannot stay in the cradle forever. So on to Mars. You know, we're like stuck on Earth since the species arrived. And now we reach a point where we are able to go out and settle other worlds. So why wait any longer and not just do it? In case you haven't checked it out, I'd like everyone to have a look at the website of MarsOne because it basically explains all the basics of the project there. So there's a rough introduction of me. I'm Bertram Barthel. I made all the way over to Pasadena from Germany, and I'm a Mars Society member and actively supporting it in Germany, set up a Mars chapter there, and right now I'm involved in preparing the European Mars Society Convention. And I have a managerial background. I set up a management consultancy for students, which is great because they're all so creative and more creative than any other consultant. And if you want to get back to me, just send me a mail to spacemail@gmx.net. or check my website that will be going online again in some days, I hope. Okay, so this is a rather compact table of content. So I'll explain what's the basics about MarsOne, what's it all about, and how we're going to do this. And after that, we have a short time for some discussion and question and answers. So now I'd like to show you the official introduction video by MarsOne, which has been around since May and received a lot of great feedback. Sadly, we couldn't set up loud audio here, but I hope you're able to read it. Oh. Actually, it was loaded, so I'll go over to the other one.
Establish human settlement on Mars in 2023. In that year, the first group of 4 humans will land on Mars. Every 2 years after that, another group will join the settlement.
My first impression was that this is an extraordinary project.
Excuse me? No, that's the maximum, I think.
But my first reaction was, I think like anyone who would be confronted with such an
Okay, so I'll just show this to show you the renders that were done by Brian Versteeg, who is an active part of the MarsOne team, and who depicted those Dragon capsules to be the ones getting there and delivering supply, being the habitat modules. These are there because SpaceX declared they want to supply MarsOne with their technology. And by now you should know about them, how imaginative and inspiring those people are. And I think MarsOne and SpaceX are the ones who approach to really get this going. This is Bas Lansdorp. He's talking about the background of MarsOne. So in 2011, they worked out the concept with major media experts like Paul Römer, you know, the guy that's behind Big Brother.
aerospace companies around the world.
So he knows what's it all about and how to fuel such a media event.
For every component, we have at least one potential
And so these are the letters of interest delivered by the suppliers
for MarsOne.
that declared they want to get involved. And for every necessary part of the mission, there's one supplier that is secured. And they will work out concepts after that.
Only people like myself and many others who are enthusiastic.
So this is our Nobel Prize winner Gerard T. Hooft from the Netherlands. He won the Physics Nobel Prize in 1998. And we had a rough overview of the
The
schedule.
Planetary rover will be sent to Mars. It will drive around on Mars to find the best location for the settlement.
In 2020, living units, life support units,
So living units and life support units will be delivered by 2020 already, and the concepts will be worked out this and next year already. So the major goal now is to secure some more major funding to get this off the ground, because in 2013 they definitely want to start the media format.
settlement is fully operational
And actually I'm here to advocate and support MarsOne.
in a transit
Right now, at this point of time, they didn't extend the organizational structure to include even more people. But they have a board of advisors and ambassadors that are rather prominent, and we have NASA people among them, space law experts, and you can check it on the website.
MarsOne invites you to join us in this great adventure.
Excuse me?
Could you step back and explain how the venture is funded and astronauts are selected in terms of a media event?
So the actual launch events will be funded by the media event itself. And there's some venture capital put in right now, and major funding by investors and sponsors that are looking forward for the media event to get it going. So those are people looking for a real venture, right? And there are a lot of them among like software entrepreneurs, and I think that's the way to go to really lift it off. So back to the presentation. This is the overview of the schedule. So in 2013, the selection of the astronauts is supposed to start. We'll have 40 astronauts because on the first mission, 4 people are sent to Mars in 2022. And after that, every 2 years, a succeed mission will be sent to send another 4 people to support the colony. And right now, this schedule is made up to 2025, because that's the second mission when the second crew arrives. And after that, even more long-term schedule will be evolved, right in the process. And in 2016, as you can read, there's the first attempt at landing a launch mission on Mars, a supply mission to send some basic needs up to the Martian surface to really prove this is possible, and to prove that the Red Dragon and the Falcon Heavy can lift cargo to the Martian surface. And in 2018, there's the launch and the landing of the Explorer rovers on Mars to find the perfect place, or an apt place to settle, that offers enough water ice that can be melted and split into oxygen and hydrogen to and water to supply the actual colony. And in 2021, the first Mars base will be deployed, and these are landed very close to each other, but not that they are getting endangered and moved by a Mars rover, supposedly. But that's a concept that has yet been to work out. But I think the time schedule is apt to work this out, because of course no one attempted anything like this before. And in 2022, there's the launch of the first mission crew. which will arrive around 7 months later. And the second one will go there in 2025. In the meanwhile, the first crew will set up colony structures, habitats, to secure radiation shelter, to set up basic nutrition so they can grow their own food, since the ultimate goal is to become self-sustainable and to explore the planet, of course. And there are many ways to reach that, and they are even possible today. So this is how the roadmap is depicted on the website. You can definitely check that out there. So we have some additional pictures of the Dragon capsules. And of course there will be communication satellites to keep in touch with Earth, to check your Facebook stuff and going on there. And you know, there's something like internet, space internet, and it already works. It's a different protocol. It's just that different packages of data are sent at the same time. So you would download a whole page instead of sending data all the time. So this could actually be even faster than internet way back on the Earth. But of course you have the time delay. So you can't have a video call that is shown at the same time on Earth and on Mars. But there might be ways to overcome that at some point of time, I don't know. Perhaps some beamer technology or whatever. Okay, and this is something like the stage of the colony in 2025 when the habitats are set up. There's farming going on and people are creating their new home, a place to live and a place to explore. So you can see there's some sort of brick structure. The Martian soil is pretty apt for such structures. Those were even used in Roman times already and are easy to build on Mars and can be even built by hand, so they don't depend on technology at all. And another good thing about the Martian soil is it also serves as a base for nutrition, for growing plants. And for the first settlers there, aquaponics and hydroponics probably will be the way to go. So here we have another overview of the companies that are willing to supply MarsOne, which is Astrobotic for space robotics, ILC Dover, which developed the spacesuits for ISS, for example, MDA, that is caring about the information systems and software, and Paragon, that delivers life support systems. And there's Surrey Technologies, that is able to build satellites for the mission. Thales Alenia Habitable Systems from Europe, that that already developed habitable modules for the ISS, for example. And of course, there's SpaceX. And I mean, once you have SpaceX in the boat of a mission like this, it's getting into epic proportions, because Elon Musk is really willing to do this. He's working hard on Red Dragon concept with his team, and they will deliver the rocketry and the launch cargo modules. So let's have a look at what happens to space agencies around the world. That's NASA, of course, you know about the budget cuts. And let's face it, the times of space agencies aren't over, but we're at a point where private ventures actually are taking over. But still, NASA is doing really important stuff. Like they successfully developed a new heat shield now that could bring down the costs of a Mars launch even more, by far actually. Well, another thing that NASA figured out now is that we have to work together, that we have to cooperate on a global level, and that's why I'm here actually. I want to propose a cooperation of everyone involved in Mars exploration, who's advocating a manned mission to get it going together. So as you can see, innovative space companies are getting ahead with new innovations instead of agencies. So that's why I think MarsOne is really beneficial. It's a private mission that is open to all. So there's no political mumbo-jumbo about it, and no space agency telling you what to do or deciding on when to make something going public, so they can't hide all the interesting details. And there's a fixed schedule, which is actually the most important thing for me. And it was the reason why I said, okay, MarsOne, that's the most interesting thing going on right now for a real manned Mars mission. Because there will definitely be the meteor start in 2013 to select astronauts. And if you're getting on the boat and support it, then we all have the benefit of really get it going. Because otherwise, if this one fails, it may fail for quite a long time. And I don't want to see that happen. Because, you know, public attention is difficult to hold on. And yeah, it's an opportunity for all of us. And, well, it's a self-sustaining settlement. So there's no need to have a return rocket to care about this highly cost-inefficient stuff and to deliver cargo and supplies all the time, because they're setting up their own world, their own life. And it's opening us a new place to live. So what Robert Zubrin said on the last issue of the Mars Quarterly was, the right way to do engineering is to take the simplest approach possible, with the fewest needs for new technologies. The wrong way is to take the most complex approach, with the maximum expenditures for new technologies. So basically he's saying, if you attempt at developing completely crazy new stuff just for such a mission that actually is possible nowadays, because, you know, we wanted to lift it off in the 1980s, then it will fail. And if there's a schedule by NASA telling us we'll have a manned Mars mission in the 2040s, you know, are you actually believing that? Who in this room is believing that? Okay, so you see, that's completely out of reach. It's a whole new different generation that would have to carry this out. And it's always facing political issues and decisions. And, you know, when George Bush told us in 2004 about the Constellation program, I was like, okay, we're finally getting there. And nothing happened, as Elon Musk put it. So we have to do this with a private venture, I think. And now let's look at the benefits of actually settling Mars. So there's no war, there's no Earth diseases, and there's no catastrophes we have to take care about, like global warming that will flood all our homes or whatever. And there's blue sunrises on Mars and beautiful night skies. Like on no place on Earth, you have a clear view of the Milky Way galaxy, and that's something really intriguing for me, because where I come from, there's no clear skies, and yeah. And, well, there's no moles or mice digging your garden, you know, because you'd have to bring them there. You'd have to bring parasites to care about. I don't think anyone wants to do that. And you also have too many annoying neighbors, because, you know, you have your own place there, you can set up your own colony for the time being. So, yeah, home sweet home. That's Mars. Yeah, that's it. All right. Yeah, sure.
Are you looking at a funding model, something like the Olympics, where television networks would pay for the license to create content of the event?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what the model is all about. Since the business model is exactly based on getting this media sponsoring. And I think looking back at the Apollo mission, you had to face the NASA carrying it out and doing the same stuff all the time. and it was just people were getting there, returning moon rocks and dust. And it was the same on every mission. And on Mars, you have the chance to set up a new world, to follow developments that are completely different from Earth, and you can explore a whole new planet, which is the first for humans. And there's so much you could imagine happening on Mars, like the first soccer game, a wedding, whatever. It doesn't have to be arranged, but I think it will happen anyway, so this will be really interesting. Yeah?
Suppose that this venture and business plan is even more successful than you imagined. And at that juncture, you suddenly find that this go-it-alone venture has suitors, either European Space Agency or NASA, in a friendly way. It would be very tempting to have their collaboration and cooperation.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree.
Of course, there will be strings attached. So I guess the question at that point is, what sort of strings would you be willing to tie on to MarsOne?
You mean to governmental agencies? Or,
Yes.
yeah. Well, actually, I'm thinking about it. Well, there's the MarsOneFans.com forum. You should definitely check that out because it's an unofficial forum. I set it up because right now I'm not part of the official MarsOne team, but they're supporting me. And I'm doing all this voluntarily. And we were discussing issues like selling research rights to governmental agencies. I mean, why not? Once they see this is really happening and they're lifting off, then they might, this definitely catches the interest of NASA, ESA, or even the Chinese space agency. And there's definitely ways to get into that and to make money out of it. But that's not the primary goal, as Elon said. You have to get some profits to make it sustainable or to succeed with it, but it's not the primary idea. The idea is to finally get humans to Mars and to make a settlement happen there. And there's many ways to fund it. And I even think about crowdfunding for now, setting up my own crowdfunding to set up a supporter crowdfunding pool. Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah.
When you select a crew, have you considered the notion of selecting teams which have aggregated themselves before they start testing? In other words, have self-selection of crew, and then take those teams through the process, and decide on the best teams. Sort of like, gold medal bobsled.
Yeah.
After so many years, as opposed to taking a whole passel of people and letting them sort of scrap it out and take the top few at the end of it. They may be so pissed off at each other at the end, they don't want to go to Mars. So I just thought, if you thought about the notion of self-selected teams you're testing.
Well, I'm absolutely fond of this idea because I think the broad public isn't even aware of what is needed for someone going to Mars. And I think there has to be some pre-selection, like you get the best groups that are really apt for this kind of thing. I think this will be published soon after this, because right now is an attention span for everything going on with Mars, Curiosity helping out a lot, and I hope it gets going there. Yeah. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is to fill in your name and your mail if you want to get into the newsletter and to get informed about all the recent stuff going on, and hand it back to me. And if you're interested in helping me setting up this funding pool for all manned Mars mission ambitions, then get back to me at spacemail@gmx.net. I'd be really fond of that. And yeah, so if there's not any more questions left, I'd like to close this one now. So thank you.